I'd like to call to order Emeryville successor agency to the redevelopment agency, and I'd like to welcome Ryan Walter Luther. We're late for the first time in starting a meeting this year due to your tardiness. Time is 6:37. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Here.
Councilmember Martinez?
Here.
Councilmember Pats?
Here.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Here.
And Mayor Bowders.
Here, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I second.
Motion by Member Pat, second by Member Donahue to approve the agenda. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Pats?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. Are there ex parte communications this evening? Seeing and hearing none, the public comment for the consent agenda or items not on this agenda. Seeing and hearing none, I'll take a motion on the consent calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Medina and second by Member Pats to approve the consent calendar. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Pats?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. Madam Clerk, the time is 6:38. The meeting is adjourned.
Oh. There was one action item?
Oh, there is?
7.1?
Calendar meetings.
There is.
Well, I'm sorry. I was pulling up the December 18th agenda. So item 7, we're not adjourned. Item 7.1 is a resolution of the City Council as successor agency to the Emeryville Redevelopment Agency approving the meeting calendar for 2019. And I know there is one date in the calendar you're asking us to review, which is September of next year. Is that correct?
Actually, what we were proposing was changing in July from 1st and 3rd to 2nd and 4th to make a smaller gap with no meetings because of our being dark in August.
Okay. Are there any objections to the calendar as proposed by staff for next year? So it would be not on the week of 4th of July, it'd be the second and last week of July.
Correct.
So what are the dates, Sharon?
So instead of July 2nd and 16th, it would be July 9th and 23rd.
Okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Medina, second by Member Donahue to approve this action item. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Pats?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. Madam Clerk, the time is 6:39. We are now adjourned. Okay, time is 6:39. Call to order the City Council of the City of Emeryville's regular council meeting. It's actually a special council meeting tonight. I apologize. And Madam Clerk, please note that all members are still present. Are there ex parte communications for this agenda? Seeing none. Before we go to our items, we'll have a public comment for things not on the agenda. And when we reach the ceremonial activities for the evening, we will have a separate public comment at that time. So, I'm sorry, I skipped. Commission and committee vacancies, do we have any?
How about approval of the final agenda?
I have the wrong agenda up here somehow. I keep getting the 18th pulled up, my bad. Okay, approval of the final agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Member Martinez, second by Vice Mayor Medina to approve this agenda. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Pats?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye, thank you. There are no special orders of the day, committee and commission vacancy announcements?
Nothing to announce at this time.
Okay, thank you. Any council member special announcements or reports on meetings attended? Member Pats?
No.
Member Donahue?
Yes, I attended a meeting about the closure of Alta Bates as scheduled by Sutter Hospitals in 2030, and there was a release of a study that the City Council of Berkeley got, and there's a press conference about this study. Our city helped pay for this study. What would happen if Alta Bates Hospital closed? Would there be a health consequence, was the study. And I just want to give you a few points about the study that was released, that the more extended version of which will be available tomorrow. California patients displaced due to a closer hospital closure are 5% more likely to die. 10% more likely to die if they are seniors over 65 and have a 15% higher risk of heart attack, stroke, and sepsis. A minute increase in response times increases the risk of death between 8 and 17% based on the initial incident occurred. A heightened risk of infant mortality and adverse birth outcomes corresponds to increased travel times of greater than 20 minutes. Acute myocardial infarctions, heart attacks, cause 1/4 of U.S. deaths, and the chance of death increases with an increase of driving time of 10 minutes, with one study showing 6.5% more deaths occurring with a mile increased distance. These are pretty significant health effects, and I think that our region will be at risk for the consolidation of Sutter, where they plan to consolidate the Alta Bates facilities and their existing facilities in Oakland. And it's just not good. I think that our state legislators have tried to do something about it unsuccessfully. Both Tony Thurmond and Nancy Skinner had 2 bills that they introduced that Jerry Brown vetoed. And I urge you to come to the press conference tomorrow at 4:45 at 2180 Millview, which is Berkeley City Hall, and later at the City Council meeting, Berkeley City Council meeting at 6 p.m. This item will be an item on the consent agenda, but they're going to be asking that Alta Bates Hospital be supported and embraced by Sutter the way that Sutter said that they would when they bought the facility. And Sutter has changed its mind, and there's just health consequences that are significant for our region.
Member
Mayor
Donahue?
Bowders was involved in an op-ed piece that was published today, I guess, on Berkeley side.
Mr. Mayor,
Sorry, yes.
we could schedule this for a future agenda if the council would like to take up a discussion.
Do you have some final comments to wrap up, or can we schedule it for an agenda in the future?
We could schedule it for a future agenda meeting.
Thank you very much, Member Donahue. Do you have any other meetings to report out on?
No.
Okay. Councilmember Martinez.
Thank you. So just in my work on East Bay Community Energy, I just wanted to let the public know that there was recently a CPUC ruling that was unfavorable to community choice aggregators. This is regarding the power choice and difference adjustment. It's essentially the charge that PG&E charges customers who move over to CCAs. Sorry, I feel like I can't see people. There we go. And I'll have more details on that in January when the modeling's more complete on the impact that'll have on our CCA.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Medina?
Nothing to report.
And I have nothing to report either. That concludes council member reports on meetings attended. I just want to thank Member Donahue for all your work on Alta Bates and being part of the regional partnership on that. That's very important, and was pleased to join on to the op-ed that we did with our neighboring cities in support of your work. The city manager's report. Madam City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to thank the Community Services Department and specifically Stacy Thomas for the amazing holiday parade this past Friday. We had about 700 people participating, and it was spectacular, and they did a fantastic job. So I just wanted to call them out and thank them for that good work.
Thank you. We share in that appreciation. Ex parte communications, are there any items which members wish to report on? Seeing none. Public comment for the consent agenda or items not on this agenda. We'll have comment for other items in the future. We have one public comment card. Edith Bresnahan.
Okay. My name, as you just heard, is Edith Bresnahan, and I am a member of the 45th Street Artists Co-op. I have lived in Emeryville for about 41 years. And over that period of time, for various reasons, I've been coming to city council meetings. I now come more regularly because I am a member of the Public Art Committee, and I am most enthusiastic about the possible new art center, and I am also concerned about housing and traffic in Emeryville is going through a tremendous change. But my reason for coming tonight is none of the above. It is to thank the mayor, John Bouters. And I want to thank him for a particular series of programs that I believe are truly unique. These are the programs that I've watched over the years to acknowledge and to thank residents and workers of Emeryville for the community services they have done for one another. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen many of them. The program for Black History Month, the Women's Month, the programs within the schools, the students who have been here with their proud parents, the gay, lesbian, and transgender program, and probably others that I have not seen. These programs have been extremely well done, well researched, beautifully presented, and have brought much joy to the people who have seen them and received the honors. And they've brought something else to this community, which is unique. I've been coming to these meetings off and on for 40 years for different projects. I have never seen a program like these that brings joy and unity and brings people together in such a beautiful way. When I have told my friends from other communities, El Cerrito, Berkeley, Oakland, San Rafael, about these programs, they are truly amazed. And I laugh a little because I know they're a little bit jealous. Things like this can happen in Emeryville. I am here partly out of a selfish reason. I want to see these programs continue. I hope there is a way that the city can support the continuation of these programs. Thank you, John, so much. They have just been magnificent. Thank you.
Thank you, Edith. Other public comment?
On November 1st, 2016, in this room, the City Council was discussing the Sherwin-Williams project and voting to forward the project to final completion. At the last minute before the vote, Councilmember Donahue spoke up and said that there's a problem, and that is that there's no guarantees about the retail component of that project. And he said he wanted to see guaranteed non-formula retail at the Sherwin-Williams project, associated with the Sherwin-Williams project. And he also said he wanted to make sure that the retail does not sit empty, as many other retail establishments have done in projects in Emeryville. So, two concerns. The retail should not be empty, and then two, it should be non-formula. Councilmember Martinez agreed, and it was voted on 5-0 that needs to be put in writing as part of the agreement. So if it's not in writing, there's no agreement. This is what was stated on November 1st, 2016 in this room. So Mr. Bryant, the planning director, assured the council that that would be done, and then he proceeded to subvert that. I'm here to announce that our planning director, Charlie Bryant, subverted the will of the council when he assured the people watching, people in Emeryville who vote for the five of you, that their wishes would be assuaged, and that is that in writing that the retail would be taken care of the way that the council directed him to do, and he proceeded to not do it. So this is extremely egregious, and I think there needs to be some It's now too late. It's now too late to go back now, because now the developer can put in a McDonald's if he wants, or just have the retail be empty, because Mr. Bryant didn't do his duty. Additionally, the 5 of you didn't do your due diligence and follow up to make sure, to keep an eye on Mr. Bryant, to make sure he did what you suggested or you told him to do. So we got a problem here. So there has to be some resolution other than just throwing up our hands. This project is too important to let this happen, so there needs to be some resolution. I'm willing to listen to suggestions about what can be done to correct this and what can be done to make sure this sort of subversion of the council's will doesn't happen in the future. So I'd like to hear from you at a future meeting, perhaps, what you suggest to ameliorate this untenable and unacceptable condition. Thank you.
Thank you. Other members of the public who wish to speak? Seeing none. Move to the consent calendar. Are there items that members wish to pull? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
I second.
There's a motion by Vice Mayor Medina and a second by Member Martinez to approve the consent calendar. Madam Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Pats?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders.
Aye. On to our ceremonial items. There are 4 items on the agenda. For item 11, there will be councilmember remarks, the installation of our elected officials, the appointment of a mayor and vice mayor, and the administration of oaths. And before we do that, this is its own agenda item. It's ceremonial in nature, but we will have public comment for all of these collectively if members of the public wish to speak on these items.
The previous speaker said some things that I would like to sign on with and add to. I would like here tonight to praise the Mayor, John Bowders, for, I think, a great job over the last year. I think you've been a really good mayor, fantastic. You and I have disagreed on some policy decisions you've made, but those are at the margins. And I think overall you've been a fantastic mayor for Emeryville, not the least of which was all your work you did to ensure the passage of Measure C, the affordable housing bond that the people voted for. So all your work for that is greatly appreciated and will make our city a much better place. And so that's because of you, the mayor, Mr. Bowders. So I want to say thank you for that. I think you did that was fantastic. In addition, I'd like to agree with what the previous speaker said regarding these community celebrations that you initiated before the meetings began commonly. I think that is, I have actually felt proud to be from Emeryville watching some of these, and that's hard. That's hard for me to feel proud of being from Emeryville because there's so much dysfunction here. But you've gone a long way in assuaging that, and these events that you've scheduled, I think it is the right place and the right sort of thing for government to be doing. Some people could say it's just feel good, and it is feel good, but it is the right and proper role of government to identify the community's values. And I really praise you for having brought this to our community, this program of these community celebrations. And I hope in the future I can continue, and I'll join with the previous speaker. I hope that can continue. I just wanted to say thank you very much for your service to our town. I think you've been a really good mayor. I was a little nervous at first, like what are you going to be like? And it turns out all my fears pretty much were cast aside. I think you've been a very good mayor for our city. Very excellent mayor, actually. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donahue.
My name is Bill Reuter. I've lived in the city of Emeryville for about 39 years now. Slightly different perspective on the service of Mayor Bowders to the city. He's the liaison between the Budget Advisory Committee and the City Council. And that's a committee that I serve on. And it's been a pleasure to watch John operate in that setting. He likes to say it's one of his favorite committees. All I can say is he's certainly our favorite liaison person, and glad to have him there. The attention to detail, the lore that he brings is enormously helpful for us doing our duty as budget advisors, and it's a genuine asset for the city of Emeryville. Thanks very much, John. And of course, I also approve of the praise that you've gotten from Mr. Donahue and from the previous speaker for opening up the community, bringing the community, I should say, into the city council. That's been an honorable thing to do and a great treat for those of us who attend city council meetings routinely. Thanks very much, John. Good service. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Ryder.
Hey, I'm Diego, came from Berkeley. Just want to thank Mayor Bowders and the city of Emeryville for Measure C. We modeled our own housing bond Measure O, somewhat after Emeryville, though a little less generous per capita. So I want to thank the citizens of Emeryville for really stepping up for their own community and being a model for the rest of the Bay Area. We're excited to see what you do next, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Mr. Carpio?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is André Carpio, and I'm not going to be a repeater to give you all the compliment you have got so far. I just want to mention something about the homeless, in which it's my observation and my experience that all the fuss about the homeless, there is one thing that is being misguided, is that at the source, the people who are homeless is because they do not have any money for whatever reason. Some lost their job and some other complication, but mainly it's a question of employment. And what has been missing from what I have observed here and read on the paper is that since the basic problem is money, funds, resource, then to resolve the solution, to resolve the problem, it would be good if instead of providing small, cheap as shelter or whatever, that we are making those people prisoner. I don't want to call it a 21st century concentration camp, but it's about like that. Those people feel, since they are put on the street and after that they put in those barracks, that they are subject of a bunch of control freak. This is not a very polite description, but if we would make a change in approach, is that if we provide 80% of their base salary that they had before, then these people, they will become again consumer, and they will be able to afford apartment, and they will be able to make the economy rolling, because right now it's a drag having those people doing nothing and costing money. But if we give them money so that they become spender, then it's a question of economics. I'm not trying to teach anybody anything here, but if you have money, you spend it. Only few people do save it, and by providing fund, and I figure out 80% of what their last income was, and 20% that they could earn by volunteering work, then it would fill the gap. We wouldn't have all this fuss, all these people lying on the sidewalk. You know, there is a question of initiative here. I would not want to be, and I'm open for discussion about that, but I can make the math, and you'll be surprised. We'll come ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carpio. Any other members of the public wish to comment?
Warren Williams with the Emeryville Police Officers Association. I, too, want to say thank you, Mayor Bowders, for your service as a mayor. You helped the police officers feel included, and you made this feel like a good place to work. You committed yourself to the city and also to individuals that work here. I know when I was injured, you not only did you come to the hospital, you offered to mow my lawn. It's a commitment that I think is more than people can usually see from behind a podium. And thank you very much for the time you've committed.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none. Councilmember remarks. Member Donahue.
Well, I recently ran for election, and I heard a lot from the voters. And Diane and I campaigned extra hard from the point of view of many people. Like, it seemed like we were inevitable winners, but it was the listening to voters that was important. And I looked at our voter turnout for our city, and I was astounded to see a 72% turnout of registered voters. Now, I'm not thinking this is an Emeryville thing. I've never seen anything like this in Emeryville. Usually we're in the 40% turnout of registered voters. I'm like, what's going on? And I think that it doesn't necessarily have to do with Emeryville. Maybe there's a national angst or something is happening, but it's impressive, the voter turnout. I could see there are people are concerned about a lot of things. You know, a lot of our residents are renters, and they are concerned with staying in our city. They want to stay here. They like our city, and they want to stay somehow. So I got that message. I'm looking for ways to help them stay here. They are concerned with our homeless population. They would like us to solve some of our homeless population problem. And I think we're going to work on that pretty hard as a council going forward. I would like us to look at that 72% and look at people's concern and about the big picture, one of which is reducing our greenhouse gases per capita in our city. And I hope to be involved in projects that do that in the future. And I also would like if we had an increased quality of life in our city, more parks, an art facility that would bring joy and meaning to our residents. And I want to work hard on doing all that. So thank you, voters, for electing me to 4 more years.
Thank you, Member Donahue. Member Martinez.
I just want to say I'm honored to have been reelected to keep my seat on Emeryville City Council. And I want to thank the voters of Emeryville for the confidence that you've placed in me. But I want to use the rest of my time to thank our outgoing mayor. You've really done a phenomenal job, as evidenced by all the people who have come here tonight and the many, many people who I spoke to on the campaign trail who have appreciated all of the work that you've done. It's really remarkable how many people you've personally touched in our community, our constituents, our staff, our businesses. You personally have talked to and advocated incredible amount of people. I'm not sure when you sleep, but it's not very much, and it's to the benefit of all of us. And there are a lot of things that you do, including our community programming, that is visible to the community, but there are a lot of things that you do that's not visible, and I just want to make sure that you know that I appreciate those things. There are certain trees in our city that would not exist if it were not for your intervention, and it's not something that you're walking around looking for accolades for. There are a lot of things that you do very quietly. There are things that you do to help businesses that that never gets published in agenda minutes or even said out loud. I just run into you doing good deeds on the street sometimes. So that's the kind of mayor that I'm very proud to have, and no one runs a meeting like you. So I will miss going to bed at a reasonable hour, although I look forward to what the future brings. I just want to let you know I appreciate all of these things about you, and I look forward to continuing to work with you on really important issues. And lastly, I just wanted to say it was really a pleasure working with you on Measure C, which I think will bring lasting good things to come in our city. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Martinez. Councilmember Pats.
Since you started with the winners, I think I'll start there as well. Scott, you said the inevitable winners, and I know from this election, I knew early on that you would win, but the real winners out of this election, I feel, because of the quality that you two bring to this council, is the city of Emeryville. You know, John has been a phenomenal mayor, but you guys set the table, you were here first, and the work that you guys did, bringing in the minimum wage, bringing in so much that I just can't even speak to it. So I'm really excited that so much of the city came out and said, yes, we want you guys to keep doing what you're doing. And so again, I'll say it, the winners of that election, because of who they smartly picked, are you guys. So thank you.
Vice Mayor Medina.
Yeah. I'd like to congratulate my colleagues on their recent re-election. I got the opportunity a couple times this year to go out and knock on doors, both for Measure C and also for Scott and Diane's re-election campaign, and spoke with many voters. And, you know, I think the polls that we looked at were backed up. We looked at what voter confidence was in our council. If you look at the voter turnout, if you look at the success of Measure C, I believe we have a council that's very much in line with the attitudes and values of our voters, and that's a phenomenal thing and something I'm really proud to be a part of. I'm also really proud to have been a part of this particular past year of council. I think if there's anything I could say about Mayor Bowders, it's he does a really good job, and he always pushes us to do better, to do more at council meetings. It can be almost a little intimidating at times, his capacity. And I think it's amazing, and it's something I know has engaged a lot of voters, and having an engaged community that supports the work that we're doing is probably one of the most positive aspects of governance we could hope to see. And so I really appreciate your leadership in this past year.
Thank you. Wow. So my remarks this evening, when I became mayor, I had no remarks. I adjourned us. I'm going to have a few remarks this evening. I want to begin by echoing what Councilmember Pat said, and I want to congratulate two of our colleagues, Councilmember Donahue and Martinez, for their reelection. And the city council is that. It's a council. It's 5 of us. And I couldn't be more proud to work on this council with the 4 people I sit with. You all are fantastic people to work with, and we do all the good things we do because we all know how to work together. And so I'm really happy that we'll be swearing you into your next term in a moment. I want to thank the staff in this city. I know that when I became mayor, I know there were some nervous people at the staff level, because I have a reputation of pushing us, as Vice Mayor Medina said, to do some things. But you all were really, we went through a lot of changes this year, and it kind of almost gets overlooked. We had a city manager, an interim city manager, and we have our new city manager. We've really done a lot with phenomenal staff. I can't possibly thank the city clerk enough for all her help with the community celebrations here. I can't thank the department heads enough for your work and your willingness to lean in and really be part of a team with us. Everything we've done is not done by one person here. It is done by all of us, and I'm very grateful to all of you for that. And I just wanted to conclude by actually reminding us, it's sometimes easy to go through meetings one at a time and do things and lose track of what we've done. And I believe in stopping to take a moment to recognize what we've done. When we started this year, I had a handful of goals that I asked then City Manager Lair to help me agenda to move the council through the year. None of them was more important to me than housing. This year, the City of Emeryville passed a $50 million affordable housing bond that will build new affordable housing, help make existing housing affordable, and will expand our home buyer program. We tripled the expenditures we make for providing services to people who are homeless in our community. We are nearing the completion of the 3706 San Pablo site, which will provide affordable housing to 87 families in 2, 3, and 4-bedroom units. We upzoned parts of San Pablo Avenue to offer us the additional capacity to build more dense urban housing to provide people places to live on a transit corridor. We implemented our lead-safe ordinance, ensuring that we're going to make housing safer for children. We passed our smoke-free ordinance and implemented it, making sure that people have the right to breathe clean air in the place they live. And something that I've been working on the side this past year, the mayors of Oakland and Berkeley and I began a monthly mayoral meeting about homelessness. And I'm pleased to announce that the mayor of Oakland and I have reached an agreement about how we're going to proceed on a direct partnership with Oakland to address homelessness in our area. We've helped pay down the debts owed to the TMA this past year, providing for and protecting the Emeryville and the future of free transit in our community. We won $6 million in grant money with the help of our public works staff to make railroad crossings safer. We've put experimental bike boulevards on Horton Street. We're almost close to completing the South Bayfront Bridge agreement. We've begun the implementation of the 40th Street cycle track by bringing a design review, which will come back later this month. The Vice Mayor and I have been working closely with AC Transit to expand bus routes, and we've started community outreach and gone a long way on the parking plan. The Art Center is in an exclusive negotiating agreement, and the vision for that is coming in the future. We passed Measure S with the full support of our cannabis industry here in town, which will provide new revenue to the city to protect the existing city services that we all enjoy here. We've increased the investment in the Disaster Relief Fund, and we've paid down unfunded liabilities, extending the life of the city's financial security. We've had, as many people I'm grateful have noted already, community celebrations, which my goal was to bring people into government and help people see who lives in this town. We had a Giving Thanks event to celebrate the people who volunteer for our community, and the long-awaited BizNexus events of my dreams from the days on the Planning Commission came to fruition this year. I'm very grateful to everybody for their support, and at this time I'd like to ask that we begin the ceremonial swearing in of Council Members Donahue and Martinez to their next term.
Just stand right here, sir.
Have you sign these after? If you could both raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Diane Martinez,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter
upon which I am about to enter
as a city council member for the city of Emeryville.
as a city council member for the city of Emeryville.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Once we know they've signed those oaths.
In a file.
Here's your next spot.
Thank you and congratulations. Welcome back to the City Council. Item 11.3 is the appointment of a mayor and a vice mayor for the city of Emeryville. And if my colleagues will humor me as I end my term as mayor, I would like to make a motion that Vice Mayor Alexandra Medina be the mayor of the city of Emeryville and that Councilmember Christian Patz be the vice mayor of the city of Emeryville.
I second that.
There is a motion by Mayor Bowders and a second by Councilmember Donahue to appoint Ally Medina as mayor. and Councilmember Pats as Vice Mayor. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Pats?
Aye.
I know this is the weird one. Vice Mayor Medina?
Aye.
And Mayor Bowders?
Aye. Please join me in congratulating our new mayor and vice mayor. And may we administer the oaths to them, and then we can do our switcheroos. And yes, friends, if you want to take pictures, you can come up here and take pictures while they're doing that.
If you could raise your right hands and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Ally
Christian
Medina.
Pats,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
That I will bear true
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California.
That I take this obligation freely
That I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully
That I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter
upon which I'm about to enter
as
The
the
vice-
mayor and vice mayor for the city of Emeryville.
as the Vice Mayor of the City of Emeryville.
Thank you and congratulations.
Oh, sorry.
So I understand that we're going to do photos and stuff, but I'm going to swap seats with our new mayor and let her move us to that place. Oh, and you can talk to her. Yeah.
So for our outgoing mayor, there is there's something to present to you. From the city of Emeryville. And I think folks would enjoy it if you unwrapped it here and folks got to see what it is.
I know what this is. Oh my gosh, you guys are crazy. It's what? Someone knows I have an affinity for maps. And I use one map all the time. I knew it. So is this from the mayor's office or your office? One of them. So it's a map of the city.
This is an overhead aerial view of Emeryville, and Charlie can tell us what year it was.
Oh, I think that's about 2003.
I use it as a reference in all the meetings with staff.
If it's the one that's in my office,
Portable?
it's 2003.
What's that?
Now it's portable.
It's now there for me at home to plan these things in advance. Thank you very much. I love it.
Okay. I would like to call for a recess and invite you all to join us in the bridge for some cookies and coffee. And then we'll take some pictures in here while you guys are enjoying the snacks. All right.
Honda, yeah.
is 7:35. Sherry, do we need to call the roll again?
I think we can say everybody's still present.
Everyone's still here. All right, let's start with 13.1, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville appointing city representatives to various county, regional, and statewide boards, commissions, and committees for calendar year 2019.
So there's no report particularly. You had the information of the current roster in your packet, and it would just be a matter of going through it line by line and saying whether they're staying the same or changing.
Okay. Let's start off then with the first one. Let's start off with public comment. Do we have any public comment on this item? No. All right. Do you have public comment on this item? Public comment for this item.
Which number is that?
We're at 13.1, the resolution appointing us to various county, regional, and statewide committees.
Yeah, go ahead. That's okay.
Okay. All right, seeing no public comment then, let's go through these line by line then and confirm whether or not we want them to change or stay the same. I don't have the filled out version, I have the empty spreadsheet, so yeah, the next to me would be great.
Madam Mayor, if you'd like us to go, if I can read each one and then the member, and then you can debate.
I've got it. All right, so
May I
Alameda.
move this for you?
Yes, please. Let's start with Alameda County Healthy Homes. We've got the member, John Bowders, and alternate city manager or designee. Do we want to change that?
I'm happy to serve on the lead board, continue to do that.
Okay, great. Alameda County Mayor's Conference. Members currently John Bowders, alternates currently myself, Ali Medina. Perhaps I should take that.
You should do that. You and Member Pat, Vice Mayor Pats.
Christian, would you like to join me as an alternate?
Please.
Excellent. All right, let's do that. All right, Alameda County Source Reduction and Recycling Board.
I would like to keep that.
Stay on there. Okay. Alameda County Transit and Emeryville Liaison Committee. Myself and John Bowders are currently on there. I'm happy to stay.
I am as well.
Great. ACTC members John Bowders. I am the alternate.
I'm very happy with that if people are.
Let's continue with that. AC Waste Management Authority member is Diane Martinez. Alternate is me.
Yep, I'd like to stay on.
Let's do that. ABAG. The member currently is Christian Pats.
I don't think anybody else wants it. So.
Alternate John Bowders.
I'd be happy if someone else wishes to be on the ABAG as the alternate to Member Pats to give that to someone.
Like I said, nobody wants it, so I'm happy to stay on.
Nose goes.
I'll be the alternate.
Okay, Scott Donahue picking up the alternate. I will note that.
Just to clarify, so that is Councilmember Bowders moving to the representative and...
No.
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 Councilmember
I'll
Pats.
stay as representative.
Oh,
Tony's
okay.
moving to alternate.
I beg your pardon. Thank you.
All right. Next up, East Bay Bike Share Accessibility TAC. I'm currently on it. We don't have very many meetings at all, so I'm happy to stay on that position.
I'll step up to be the alternate.
Okay. It does say not applicable, but
Yeah.
okay. East Bay Community Energy JPA Board. Currently, we have Diane Martinez.
I'd like to stay on.
And we have the alternate Scott Donahue.
Okay.
Is that fine? Okay. East Bay Sports Field Recreation JPA. Currently, I am the member, and Diane Martinez is the alternate.
And you've done an amazing job on that.
Really have. Yeah, thank you. You know, it's my favorite committee. I think I'm going to continue. Sorry.
We all dodged the bullet, guys. She said she wants it.
I'm in it for the Comic Sans agendas, people. The ECCL Governance Committee currently has all of us on it with really no other options, so can we all agree to stay on it?
Yes.
All right, the Emeryville Oakland JPA has all of you with myself as an alternate. I'm fine with that. Okay. The League of Cities, I'm currently the member. Diane Martinez is currently alternate. I'd be happy if someone else would step in here.
They have my face on a wanted ad, so I don't think I'm going to be allowed in there.
He's not popular there.
I'm not very popular at the League of Cities.
So this is just for the annual conference, and
When is the conference again?
Oh, it's the annual conference. So the annual conference is in September, I believe, and it's going to be in Long Beach for like the next 2 years.
Early or late September?
Early.
Such an awkward time.
Such an awkward city.
I like Long Beach.
Do you not want to do it, Ally?
I'd prefer, I will stay as the annual delegate if we can get someone different for the East Bay Division 1, because it's just too many things for me to attend. Frankly, I'd prefer to give up both seats, but...
I'll take the annual one.
Thank you, Diane. I'll be your... Christian, would you like to be the alternate there?
I'll be the alternate there,
Okay. Diane will take the League of Cities voting delegate, and Christian will be the alternate. What about the East Bay Division League of Cities? I'm currently the member, Scott's currently the alternate.
When are their meetings?
It's monthly
Yeah.
in a different location
Rotates.
every time.
But it's in the evening.
It's a Wednesday in the evening, I think. Isn't that right?
It's a Wednesday in the evening.
Wednesday or Thursday?
I'm happy to step in.
Christian's doing it. Thank you,
Okay.
Christian.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you,
a
Christian.
delightful dinner.
Only if I can wear my John Bowders mask.
Oh, it's just called a bow tie.
Well, I get life insurance if you do that.
And are we keeping Donahue as the,
I'll be the alternate for that.
Excellent.
Did you want to be the primary?
No.
All right, let's go to 2-year terms. AC Mosquito Abatement District. Currently, we have a member in Betsy Cooley. She goes until December 31st, 2019. Betsy's not here. And,
Emailed though.
okay, I would love to reappoint Betsy Cooley to that board.
Well,
She goes for another year.
yeah, her
good.
term's not
She's good.
expiring.
Oh, yeah,
yet.
she's good there. Oh, sorry, the term that is expiring is ACDC PAPCO, and the member is Yvonne Behrens. Would we like to reappoint her?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so that stays the same. 3-year terms. Oh, this one is up. Sorry, that's what I had switched. Emeryville Transportation Management Association, currently Betsy Cooley and Bobby Lee.
It would be great if they would keep going.
Madam Mayor, if we could just interject on this one.
Yeah.
One approach to true up these terms with the terms that are in the TMA bylaws would be to appoint these individuals through April, and then we'll bring back an appointment opportunity in April to true it up with the bylaws terms.
If that's preferable, I'm happy to do that.
That sounds
for
good
me.
to me.
Yep, let's point them through April. Okay. And AC Fire, nope, these ones are still until 2021 for Fire Advisory Commission and Housing Authority Commission, so no need to redo those. All right, do you, Sherry, did you get all of those down, or changes?
did.
Okay.
thank you.
Those require county appointment.
That's true. All right, with all those changes, can I get a motion?
I move.
Second?
All right. Let's call the vote.
Councilmember Bowders,
I'm first now. Aye.
Councilmember Donahue,
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pats,
Aye.
and Mayor Medina.
Aye. It passes. Next up, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville appointing city council members to the city's council committees for calendar year 2019. Let's pull that up.
Anybody looking to change?
Well, I think we've added.
Oh.
So if you look here, oh, city council, no, Beverly.
This is just for the city council
Yeah.
committees.
I believe we might have some changes.
So this will be Budget and Governance Committee, Community Services Committee, and those.
Okay, does anyone want to change any of the committees that they are on or have any suggestions?
Yes. I believe Councilmember Donahue and I have caucused about swapping one committee assignment, where I would take Transportation and Public Works, and Councilmember Donahue would take Sustainability. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, and everyone's fine with that? Fantastic. I think that's a great idea. And can we get a motion with those changes?
I'll move.
I'll second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Bowders,
Aye.
Councilmember Donahue,
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pats,
Aye.
and Mayor Medina.
Aye. It passes. Next up, 13.3, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville appointing city council members to serve as council member liaisons to the city's community advisory committees for terms ending December 31st, 2019. So the committees we're looking at are the BPAC, Budget Advisory Committee, Commission on Aging, Economic Development Advisory Committee, Housing Committee, which is a new liaison position, Parks and Rec Committee, also I believe a new liaison commission, committee, and Public Art Committee. So does anyone want to change any of the committees they currently serve as a liaison on? Okay, no, I'm very happy where I am too at BPAC. So we need to find people to fill housing and Parks and Rec, is that correct?
Correct.
And when are those meetings, Sherry?
Do you know when the meetings are? Housing Committee is first Wednesday,
Parks and Rec is third Wednesday.
every 2 months. Parks and Rec is third Wednesday every month.
What time of day?
5:30.
6 o'clock for housing, 5:30 for Parks and Rec.
Okay, I can't do Parks and Rec. And I'm sorry, what time is housing?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
I'll offer to do housing.
I'll do Parks and Rec if nobody else.
I feel conflicted out of that one.
Fair enough. All right, so John Batters will take the Housing Committee slot, and Scott Donahue will take the Parks and Recreation Committee. All right, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Bouders?
Aye.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pats?
Aye.
And Mayor Medina.
Aye. Passes. Next up. All right, item 13.4, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville adopting the 2019 City Council regular meeting calendar. All right, is there any public comment for this item? Seeing no public comment for this, let's look at the calendar that has been proposed. And does anyone have any problems with any of the current dates?
And it's essentially, it's the same calendar that we adopted for successor agency. The only changes being proposed are changing the 2 meetings in July from the 2nd and 16th to the 9th and 23rd.
Right.
With those changes, I'll move approval of the calendar.
Second.
Call the roll.
Councilmember Bouders?
Aye.
Councilmember Donahue?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pats?
Aye.
And Mayor Medina.
Aye. It passes. 13.5, resolution of the City Council of the City of Emeryville amending the regular meeting schedule of the Budget Advisory Committee, amending the committee membership compositions of the Housing Committee and the Parks and Recreation Committee, and amending the local roster of boards, commissions, committees accordingly for 2018-2019. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, let's go on to discussion. Does anyone have any comments on this item? Nope.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, I'd like a motion.
So moved.
I just thought you might want to, there were some options given to you for the way to handle changing the composition of the Housing Committee. The choices being, because what we're trying to accomplish is have 2 business representatives. And so we can accomplish that. There currently is 1 member who qualifies as a business representative. So we could immediately convert that position, and then we could wait to convert the other position until terms expire, and we can recruit for another business representative, or adopt some other composition, or make no changes. It's at the council's discretion.
Okay. Member Batter, since you're going to be serving on that, do you have any comments?
My only question for staff related to the Housing Committee is it feels like we have a lot of special meetings because we currently occupy the odd-numbered months, and it feels like when I served on the Housing Committee years ago as a resident, that we were canceling the regular meetings and always having special meetings in the even-numbered months. Can we at least agenda for the committee's review whether it should be odd or even months? I don't know if we want to decide that tonight without their input, if we haven't asked for it.
And this would just be anecdotal. My feeling about the cancellations and the scheduling of special meetings sometimes has had to do with not being able to get a quorum seated. And so I think in order to still be able to do business, they've canceled the regular meeting and then scheduled at a time when they feel that they can seat a quorum.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to propose any changes. I'm happy to work with the Housing Committee.
Okay. Any comments on the composition of business representatives?
I need to take my notes back from you.
Yeah, go for it.
We currently have 9 spots on this committee. And how many are for business representatives?
There are currently none, and what we're proposing to do is have 2 business representatives. And so there is somebody, Vicky Jo Sewell, if I'm saying her name right, who does qualify as a business representative. We don't have anybody else currently on the committee, so the proposal would be to just immediately convert her, and then when the next round of recruitments, we try to recruit for that business seat and fill it at that time.
Do we have any requirements between home ownership and tenant? I think that we should have tenant representatives at a minimum on the committee, and I don't know how staff feels about expanding it to 11 people. Is that an undesired approach? We have so many applicants for the housing committee, it may make sense to consider that.
So, Mr. Mayor, that topic
The mayor.
would, Mr. Councilmember, that could be that could be agendized for the committee to discuss expanding its membership. For tonight, what's before you as a choice is whether to just convert the single seat and have the person who happens to be both a resident and a business owner hold that business seat, or to convert that seat so that she would hold a business seat and then provide the direction that when the next seat becomes vacant, that seat be designated as a business representative seat.
Can I ask the staff's perspective on why we're asking for businesses on the housing committee, like the importance of it?
I believe it's to achieve a quorum.
And I also was under the impression, and Lorraine, correct me if I'm wrong, that was a request that that the composition of the housing committee be more similar to the way BPAC is, for better representation. Am I recalling that correctly?
Okay, I support the staff proposal with the additional request that we agenda for the housing committee further review of the composition of the committee at the time after we've appointed a council liaison.
Okay.
Thank you.
Which one is that? Are we just converting one community member over to business, or are we leaving
One
open?
immediately and one in June when we make the full turnover.
Yeah,
So
the
that,
second option.
Yeah, second option. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve this item with those understandings.
And I will second.
Member Bowders made a motion. Councilmember Martinez seconded. Let's call the roll.
Councilmember Bowders.
Aye.
Councilmember Donahue.
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pats.
Aye.
And Mayor Medina.
Aye. All right. Department head reports. Department heads, do you have any reports or announcements? Nope. Okay. Let's go to future agenda item requests. Does anyone have any future agenda items? Member Donahue? No. What would you like to request that we put on the Altabates item?
Oh, yes, excuse me.
Okay. Put on the Altabates item. Any other agenda item requests?
I have 2 items, actually. One is, it was brought to my attention recently that Emeryville Municipal Code, Section 5.28-10, related to the regulation of cannabis. There is a regulation we adopted that was originally proposed to be part of the state regulations, but the state in the end did not adopt that regulation, and we're one of the only cities that went through with it. It relates, we can't discuss it, but I'll simply, in short, it relates to the our regulation prohibits dispensaries from selling cannabis products that are visible through a window from a public right-of-way. And so I would like to ask that we have a very short agenda item to review, since the state didn't adopt it, to review whether or not we'd like to give staff direction to amend that regulation. If there's support for that from council.
I support that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. My second request is related to the RFP for the project at 43rd and San Pablo. We have currently given staff direction related to an all senior affordable housing project, and then in the interim we upzoned that property to allow for greater density, and I would like to ask council to consider in the near future a simple review of whether or not there's an opportunity for intergenerational housing to allow for foster and emancipated youth who are homeless or aging out of foster care to have some small percentage of those units and be connected to the ECCL and senior living.
I'm happy to review that.
Are people okay with reviewing that item? Mm-hmm. Thank you. Those are my 2 requests.
Any other future agenda requests? Nope. All right. Let's adjourn, but let's adjourn in memory. I believe we have an in memoriam that Councilmember Donahue will lead us through.
Yes. Henry Van Dyke Jr., also known as Hank, was our Public Works Director for many years in our city. He just passed November 21st of this year. And I'd like to adjourn this meeting in memory of his many years of service to our city.
Thank you. All right, it's 7:55 and this meeting is adjourned.